Mango Mustache Media.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Chicano and Chingon. I'm your host, NellMari Barrios. This is your other host, my brother, Arturo Barrios. So sorry you have to...
Your favorite host.
Whatever. This show is produced and distributed by Mango Mustache Media and sponsored by Hacienda Las Glorias.
We'll be at Hacienda Las Glorias the last Saturday of every month. Live. We'll be there. Catch up on. You can look at our website. You'll see what location we'll be at. Mainly First Avenue. If it's any other location, we'll let you know on the podcast. Or, like I said, check out the website.
Yeah, mangomustache.com/Chicano Chingon. Or check our socials. We got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Something else I'm not remembering.
Anything
We're
you get
there.
your hands on, just...
Yeah, Chicano Chingon podcast. Find us on anything. And yeah, talk to us. But yeah.
Link in the bio.
Link in the bio.
Link in the bio.
Check out that. For anything I might have missed, it's there. I promise. Anyways.
¿Cómo estás, güey?
What up, way? How's it going?
It's going good. Pretty good.
Shall we get into this first segment? The word of the day today.
What is way?
What?
What is the way?
What is the way? Well, our word of the day is way. Way.
Way.
How do I explain way in a way you can understand? Well, way can be used two very different ways.
Way a lot. Take a shot every time you hear way.
Every time you hear a Mexican say way, in a sense, that you would die. No. So if it can be used in a very nice, casual way, like, God, now I'm going to notice every time I say the word way, whether it's in English or Spanish. If you want to say, if you're talking to your friends in a casual, friendly way, like, get on the way, get pedo way, what's up, man? What's up, dude? Basically what that means. Or the very opposite use of it, it can be dumbass or idiot.
Very rude, which was the way that we were taught. We're like, this is a big no-no word and you don't want to say this. And
yeah, it's all about context of how you use the word. And
context and tone.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we have to emphasize every time we're teaching a new word, a new little Spanglish thing going on, with very good reason. Because, it can be like casual, like I said, like, get on the way.
¿Cómo estás, way?
Yeah, ¿cómo estás, way? Is very friendly. It's how you're just talking to your friends. Or, like, say somebody fucks something up, like, you did something stupid. I'm like, ay, mira este way. Like, look at this idiot. Look at this dumbass. So, it's very... Yeah.
I've heard plenty of... I work on a construction site full of, there's framers and there's roofers. They speak Spanish. This isn't funny that it happened, but it's funny the response of the people on the job site. Somebody was roofing. 3 stories up, they fell off the roof.
Jesus.
The guy got up, walked it off, came back to work the next day, but everyone was like, it's the way, no mames, how is he working? How he just got back up. All the guys that I was working with were like, holy shit, like, my stomach hurts sometimes. I don't want to come into work. This guy fell off 3 stories and he's
but he just got up and everybody's like, ay, no mames, way.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, you'll hear that a lot. Mexicans use the word way so much. It is a joke that other Latinos like to make, like, how many times can a Mexican say way in a sentence?
It just gets so embedded in your language. It's like second nature to say that word.
Yeah, I would ask you, our listener, to take a shot every time we say the word way, but I'm not going to do that because I want you to be alive by the end of the episode. I won't ask you to do that with any Mexican conversation happening in front of you because Mexicans use that word nonstop and you will die. So
talk about alcohol poisoning, man. Jesus.
Yeah, just a little, a little idea for how much that word is used. Dad calls... I remember growing up, just every time I'd see Dad just talking to anybody, I'm just thinking, I'm like he uses the word way a lot. Mm-hmm. And we weren't allowed to use it because we were kids. Way is not necessarily a bad word, but you don't hear, like, little kids saying the word
it goes
way.
back to that thing. Like, you're not going to say that to your grandma. I'm not going to be like, ¿Cómo estás, way? Like,
that's just rude.
It's rude. Yeah.
I mean, that's also an English thing, too. Like, you don't call your grandparents dude. You don't even call your parents dude. So it's a matter of respect and formality. But also, like, a lot of little kids, they don't really say it to each other either. I mean, Not that I know. Probably shouldn't be. But I don't see that many kids using the word way. So when we were kids, we were just taught that it was a bad word. And mom and dad just said, like, don't use that word.
I think they looked at it like when you use this word, you have a certain, like, people view you a certain way after using this kind of language. Like, maybe it comes off more ghetto or whatever.
Well, yeah, because I guess when you look at, like, little kids, like, cursing, whatever, you don't have, like...
Yeah, I'm not like, that little kid's so cute the way he said the F word. I'm like, no, I'd rather him.
Well, I do think it's kind of cute when little kids curse. I think it's hilarious. But, you know,
Depending on
most
the
people
context.
don't really like that. They're like, ugh, where are their parents? But I think it's fucking funny. It's not good, but
I think you're really good at teaching the way.
Teaching the way.
Teaching the way. Thank you. Hell yeah.
That was a good one, I guess. I'll give you that. Well, I remember, like, it got to the point when we were little kids, like, anytime we used the word, like, way, somebody would point out, like, ooh, you said a bad word, you know?
Yeah, because
like,
we're so just, like, ready to, like, tattle on somebody. Like, you can't say that word. I don't like when you say it to me. Because
Yeah.
it was painted to be like, because you said it to me a couple of times, and I remember, like, when I was little, you'd say it to me, and I'm like, this motherfucker, she knows that you're not supposed to say that word, and she says it anyway.
Well, and I remember we've had conversations. I remember we were having a conversation about something. I was telling you something, and you're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, way. And our brother Francisco was like, ooh, that's a bad word. And at the time, that was just comedy gold.
It was the start of like, ooh, I'm telling mom.
Yeah, well, that, but also like mom is right there. And we can all acknowledge like we can't get in trouble for that. So it's so funny that we can say that right now and get away with it.
All right, I want to talk about culture shit, all right? Because part of this podcast is we talk about pop culture and the important things that, you know, are important to us.
No, we don't.
Excuse me?
We don't do that.
Oh, we don't do that?
We never do that.
Well, go fuck yourself. No, look, okay. So at the beginning of the year, I went to Mexico. I went there for maybe a month. And while I was there, you know, it's been, I think, 13 years since I've been there. Like, since the last time I was there, we were little.
Yeah.
You know. You were there, remember?
I remember. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, one of the things that, you know, you see walking down the street, you see all these handmade little trinkets, you know, the jewelry.
Yeah,
One
a
of
lot
the things,
of art.
Yeah, a lot of the art. And one of the biggest things that I always fixate on, I love looking at, are the Alebrijes.
Mm.
They're just like, they're so pretty and they're so unique in every single way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not one that's just a copy of another, I feel like.
If you could describe to somebody, like a short, tiny summary, describe what is an alebrije and what they would be looking at. So,
I can paint the picture on how they were created, all right? Imagine you're having a fever dream. You're having a fever dream, and, you know, all these things are going past your vision. You're seeing reds, different colors, and then it comes clear, and you're seeing a lion. You're like, whoa, this lion it's a little weird looking, because this lion has the head of a fucking eagle.
That is like, a little odd.
It's a little odd, you know, that's a little jarring. So that's actually what the creator of Alebrijes, like the start of that art project, that's what he did. He had a fever dream, and he saw, I'm not sure if it was a lion with an eagle head or something, but it was some just obscure shit.
Just,
you know?
But just like animals, just looking kind of wild.
And his job was, he worked at paper mache. He would make a lot of, like, you know, piñatas or, what is it called? For Cinco de Mayo or Dia de los Muertos, they do.
There's a lot of, like, the sugar
papel
skulls
picado.
and,
Is that what it's called? Like the cut paper?
Papel picado, the decorated paper.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, he worked with a lot of, I think it's called, no, that's meat stand. Fuck, I forgot the name of it. But basically paper mache.
Yeah.
He started making these things after he had the fever dream, and then that really picked up. He started it in the 30s, and he kind of did it up until, like, let's say Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera, like at their height of their, like, popularity.
Yeah.
They actually, like, came in, they're commissioning a bunch of these Alebrijes.
Real quick, what's the artist's name?
Oh shit, that's a good question.
Isn't it Pedro Linares?
Pedro Linares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah. Appreciate it. You're better with the names anyway. Yeah.
I'm just a mind reader. That's what I'm here for.
I say, well, you are, like, as close as you can get to a twin sister. So yeah, you got that.
It's because we're Irish twins. We're connected. Anyways, continue.
Well, birthdays are coming up too. Yeah, we don't.
Oh yeah.
That's a later topic. We don't got to talk about that.
Hey,
right now.
Arturo, were you talking about cartoneria?
Cartoneria. Yes. So it's like working with imagine like carton, like cardboard, or
Carton
cartoneria.
piedra is another.
Piedra.
Piedra means like rock or dirt.
Yeah, so I imagine
Cardboard.
that's like plaster. Yeah, because actually in 2007 they started doing these bigger festivals for Alebrijes. So they would have these huge, just I think there was easily a couple hundred sculptures, huge, and they were displayed in front of the Capitol. Like they're just the most intricate designs. It's really cool.
They're really beautiful too because and I never knew the name of them or what the fuck they were when I was a little kid. I just remember seeing them all the time. But just like
shiny animal. Really
yeah,
cool.
just brightly colored animals. A lot of times dragons or like some kind of like dragon
Lizard hybrid thing.
like a dragon lion type of thing. But like, you know, I just see like a blue tiger with the something else like wings maybe, you know, or just like all these like spots and decorations and patterns on its fur or skin or whatever. I've always really liked the abstractness of Alebrijes.
Yeah, they're really like there's so many different kinds. I feel like the most common ones, I mean, obviously are the smaller ones. They're easier to make. They're a little cheaper. And I feel like they're the nicest to get for a kid. They're more like bobbleheads. Like
Yeah, the little bobbleheads. They got the little
yeah. It's
a
like
weird,
a
weird little round body.
If
little
you
thing sticking
take a
out like
look
a
at
head.
our Chicano trailer, you'll see actually an alebrije on the skull position in some way. But
It's the little blue guy.
I do want to get one for the set. I think that'd be really cool to have.
We'll bring
one.
him back.
We will bring him back.
Somebody was supposed to bring one today, but
Somebody forgot.
Yeah.
Because somebody doesn't care about this show.
Sue me. Eh? What can I say?
I'll sue you.
I'm looking at getting a. I just want to get a bunch of shit for this table. I think it's so cool to have a bunch of things that like have meaning to the podcast.
And we have more alebrijes somewhere. I want like a bunch of alebrijes going on. That'd be cool. They're really pretty and there's always a variety. You'll
Yeah.
never find one that looks the same as another.
I like the bobblehead aspect of it.
Yeah.
Too. I feel like it just belongs. On
I
a
just
table.
like going a little, like giving them a little think on the head.
It makes me think a lot of because they've been represented a lot in Coco as spirit animals, but I mean, and that's it's not totally wrong to view them that way, but that's not how everybody views alebrijes. They're more of a cultural art piece than anything. And there are some, I believe, the Zapotecas actually believed in spirit animals, and I believe Oaxaca, they actually would carve little animals and they would give it as gifts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they would make decoys for hunting, but like in Oaxaca, that's actually why such a lot of the wooden sculptures are more well known.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they can stay together more than
That's pretty cool.
paper mache.
The paper
But
just melt.
Yeah, it's cool
Why did I
shit.
say melt? Whatever happens in the dissolve. Sorry. Anyways,
falls apart.
I like that you mentioned Coco. I really like Coco. That was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
And I think I like that they got a lot of things right when it comes to just like Mexican culture and beliefs. Just kind of with like Dia de los Muertos and like the consensus of what happens. Like there's an underworld, and you know you're inviting back your dead
shows
relatives.
The family quality, like how important that is. Like you keep
Yeah.
every photo of your relatives and you give them food every single year because this
Dia
is what
de
they
los
like.
Muertos is very much important to Mexican culture, and that's really, really cool. But they got like some things wrong in Coco. They got like two main things wrong. The one of the things they got wrong was like with the alebrijes. So they got everything right. They're basically like the whole movie is about like him, the main character, just venturing to the underworld, and he's not supposed to be there, but
Yeah.
he's learning like more about his culture and why these things are so important to his culture and the people around him, and also just kind of learning about like the beliefs and what's real and what's not. But one thing is like alebrijes were never the way they're depicted in the movie is not accurate to how they're depicted in like Mexico in real life, you know,
Yeah.
because in the movie they're like, oh, these are spirit guides. We all got one. Here's my alebrije, whatever. While like, you know, the concept of spirit animals, I'm sure was probably very much a concept for indigenous Mexican people long before the Spanish came. But the concept of Alebrijes is fairly like new. That became a thing in the 1900s. It was never like a religious belief. Not there's not really any people who believe that they have an Alebrije waiting to guide them to the underworld. One thing though, people did believe that the Xoloscuincles, the Mexican hairless dogs, those were always considered spirit guides, for many reasons.
I believe, and I might be guessing a little here and there, but they actually, the Aztecs or whatever civilization there, they would die with them, and they would actually help to
so in
guide them.
Aztec civilization, a lot of people, first of all, Xoloscuincles were like prized dogs. They're very expensive, very valuable, because there was a lot of meaning to them. They were believed to be able to form these connections with their owners, these spiritual connections. So a lot of people believe that there was, back then during the Aztec times, a lot of people actually would, when they died, they would kill their dog as well.
I believe they did that in Egypt too with their cats.
Yeah, so it's not an uncommon practice in ancient civilizations, but they would also kill the dog and bury the dog with them because they believed that dog was going to be guiding them in the spirit world. And some people even ate the Xoloscuincles because they just believed that there was good that came
like
from
an
it.
essence.
Yeah, and I'm sure that probably happened like, when their dog was getting old and it was time for the dog to die. Maybe they just ate him. That's one part I didn't really look into as much. But another thing that Coco got wrong was like, remember the stray dog that was following him around?
Yeah.
That was a Xoloscuincle because you can see he's hairless.
Kind of dumb and scrappy though. Like that's not really how they're.
But that's not a thing in Mexico. There are stray dogs in Mexico, but they're not going to be Xoloscuincles. Like those are like, that's like a poodle being a stray dog. That's kind of like,
because I mean, like I can tell you
everybody
right
wants
now,
that.
if I wanted to get one in Iowa, I would have to pay a lot of money to get one.
and even if you're in Mexico and you want to get a Xoloscuincle, they're not cheap.
And I mean, like for example, our Tia Karina, our aunt, she has one, and she has one with hair, and she got it cheaper because it has hair.
Yeah, I thought
because it doesn't have the traditional look. Well, I don't know. It's
oh, maybe one died.
I don't know with Alberto and everybody. They kind of like shared split custody with dogs kind of thing. I don't know.
Maybe we shouldn't have mentioned that part. But I don't know. But yeah, so two things Coco got wrong is the Alebrijes and the Xoloscuincles, because those dogs, if you like, you're not gonna see a golden lab or a poodle or like, dogs like that as stray dogs. Those are like sought after expensive dogs that people want. It's the same thing with Xoloscuincles.
They don't want no mutts.
They don't want no mutt, no mangy mutt. Xoloscuincles will never be mangy because those are top dollar dogs. I didn't mean to breathe like that.
Top dollar dogs. Top of the line, top of the shelf. They're really nice. They're really cool dogs.
They are really cool.
They're badass. Like
they're kind of weird that they're hairless because like petting a dog that has no hair just feels kind of weird.
Gives me like hellhound vibes.
Yeah.
But they're really cool though.
Our dad is a hairless dog.
She's just a pit bull.
She's not supposed to be hairless.
She's an American Xoloscuincle. Squinkly? Shit.
Xoloscuincle. Yeah, no, she's got allergies or something. I don't know. She loses hair on her back. She's really cute, but you'll just be petting her and like her head and her shoulders have fur, but then like the rest of her back to her butt is just skin. So it's just funny because you're
just put sweaters on her. It's fine.
Yeah, I know.
She looks good in sweaters.
Her ears don't have any hair either, so her ears are always cold. Very sad, but she's very cute. She's basically an American Xoloscuincle.
She's very emotional too.
She's very needy.
Very needy.
We love her. Shout out to Bala.
Shout out to Bala. Yeah, Bala also
means bullet.
Means bullet. Yeah, because she's very
as
very
fuck.
fast. She is broken away from people's grasp, and she's ran out of the yard a couple times. I'm not going to get into what she did. She chased a deer down, and she did not know how to fight it. She slammed her body into it. That's the kind of dog she is. She slams her body into things.
She's just weird.
Yeah, she's weird.
She did attack a neighbor's dog, though.
That's what I didn't want to talk
about. Well, I mean, it's not like we're going to get canceled. Like, your dog fought another dog. We just moved in. She was a little scared. She said, oh, there's people near my house. So she went out and she bit a dog. It wasn't bad. The dog's fine. But she was on probation.
Yeah, she's on probation.
I don't think she is anymore.
Well, I think
God bless her.
What does that mean?
I don't know. There's just something like if your dog fights another dog and then like they call the police or something, whoever
Out of here. We're getting it.
No, they will put your dog on probation. So if like no, I'm not joking. It's a thing. If your dog goes on probation, yeah. And then it's not funny because it was actually a very sad, stressful time because they took Bala to the pound. But that was because she wasn't up to date on her shots or whatever. I'm getting off topic. She was on probation. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails, but she wasn't allowed to get in trouble again for a while. Or something would happen. I don't know.
You don't think they were like dissing on her because she's a pit bull?
They're being racist.
They're being racist towards pit bulls. I know in Anamosa, because we live in Cedar Rapids, I know in Anamosa they actually have a ban on pit bulls. Or
Really?
I think they actually just lifted it.
Just like a city,
Something like that.
a city. Just I didn't know cities could do that.
Something like that.
I thought it was just like that would have to be a state thing. I didn't know that.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Fuck Anamosa. All my homies hate Anamosa.
Okay, we're not. That's not what I'm.
No,
that's
I'm
not
just
what
kidding.
I was doing.
Just kidding. Just kidding. We love everybody who's in Anamosa.
And I could
You're
be wrong.
cool.
I mean, it could not even be Anamosa. I just know that somewhere northeast they had a ban on pit bulls. But I think we're getting really off topic with Solo Squinkly.
We were talking about Show Squinklies. We were talking about Alebrijes.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is important information. You know, people need to know that pit bulls are valid and they're dogs just like any other dog.
Fact check. Anamosa pit bull ban lifted in 2018.
Oh, off by
Good job,
5 years.
Anamosa.
Shout out to Anamosa. My homies do not hate Anamosa. I take all that back.
Progressive Anamosa.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
we love them. You've been wanting to talk about video games, but
Fuck yeah. Well, you just got a PS5. How's that?
it's really nice.
PS5's great.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, I saw you playing. I saw.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I was
fuck
playing
yeah.
Spider-Man. That shit is so fucking cool. The swinging mechanics is awesome.
Phenomenal game.
Phenomenal.
I think a lot of people my age, or I mean, just any young boy growing up, was like had some type of fixation on Spider-Man.
Yeah,
At least
you
I
sure did.
Yeah, you can probably tell like 40 stories about crazy Spider-Man
it's
shit. I've
fucking
done.
annoying. I like Spider-Man 2, okay? But there's only so many times I can watch the same goddamn movie. So my love dimmed a little bit when I was a kid. But
Dude, I'm just saying that Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire and Doc Octopus, phenomenal movie. But
that was kind of fire.
besides the point. So we're talking about Spider-Man for the PS5 now.
Yeah.
It came out in 2018, 2016 for the PS4. Amazing game. They introduced Miles Morales. Miles Morales,
that was really cool.
Not many people know this, but I mean, he is African American, but he's also Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
So that's like really cool to see somebody
briefly
change it up a little bit.
in the movie, you briefly hear him speak. I don't know. I can't remember if he spoke Spanish too to his mom, but there's one point where he's leaving for school and his mom is just talking to him. She said like some things to him in Spanish when he's like running around the house. And I think when he was going to school, she was like, what did she say? Like, llámame or whatever, like call me.
Yeah, and then they said like I love you or something.
Yeah,
in
I think she
Spanish.
said like te quiero mucho. I think.
Or like te quiero, I think so. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
But it's cool though that we get to see that now. Because not like what, 5-6 years ago, you didn't really see that much Latinos well, in pop culture and media in general, but especially in video games it's for media, it's so much more immersive when you're playing a video game because you're
you're in the role, you're playing the role.
yeah, and whether you like the character or not, there is sort of relating to the character and identifying with the character because you got to get into the game, you know? So it's really cool that now with how many Latinos that play video games, now we get to see more Latino representation because it's not just Spider-Man. It's, what was it? Call of Duty?
Oh, well, they had the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Part of that takes place in Mexico. That's pretty cool. I mean, the game is a little fucked up because, there's war things happening.
Yeah.
And there's atrocities being
Well,
committed.
yeah, it's not a lighthearted game, but
it's cool to see, for one, Mexican Special Forces. That's super cool.
I remember seeing one of the trailers for it, and like one of the guys, somebody's talking. I'm not gonna say who's who. Okay, I've never played Call of Duty.
I feel like I already know what you're talking about.
I don't know my military terms, but there was a guy saying like, "Now listen, these are your Mexican brothers or whatever." But he's like introducing the Mexican forces, and it was in such a cool way. I remember watching the trailer and just getting chills. I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." The way he introduced him was so cool, and the way he's like just kind of telling him like, "You're working together. You're all on the same team." It was just so fucking cool. And then also seeing ghosts say a huevo is fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
right?
I
Yeah.
saw that clip like 100,000 times all over TikTok, but that was so funny and just so surreal to see. Like in a Call of Duty video game, anybody saying a huevo is hilarious.
Yeah, any kind of slang being used. And that's really cool to see Ghost, because Ghost is like, he's such an icon for Modern Warfare. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, when anybody thinks about Modern Warfare, they think about that skull mask. I think there's actually a portion in that game where everybody on your team wears skull mask. Like, that's just
Oh,
how
really?
cool the Ghost thing is.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. I grew up with Modern Warfare. I started playing Modern Warfare 1 all the way. I didn't play Modern Warfare 2, which I'm a little sad about. Modern Warfare 3 was pretty cool, though. I'm not totally happy to see a total remake of the whole series, but it's cool to see them go back and rework things, especially if they're adding Mexico into it, because the Mexican Special Forces was badass.
Yeah.
They're really fucking cool.
Yeah. Real life, like I see them do some like crazy shit. You see like their drills they do in Mexico, like just out in like in a square or whatever.
I'm not sure.
The way they like, I don't know, they're like totally in sync. It's really fucking cool. I don't know.
So they
I could have
got-
elaborated on that more, but I'm so scared to say something wrong because I don't know any military terms.
I
or
don't know a whole lot
vocabulary.
I don't know a whole lot either. So I mean,
Yeah.
I could be totally.
That's why we got to bring Francisco. on here.
Absolutely. Our brother Francisco knows a lot about military things. He actually wants to go into the military after he graduates high school. He plays the fuck out of like
All of those games.
Call of Duty. What's that zombie game?
Uh,
It takes place in Russia. I forgot what it's called. But that kid's playing all the kinds of first person shooters, and
he was playing that one
Yeah.
game where he like, there's like the sound sensitivity is like really really important because you can hear like whispers and like footsteps and whatever. So people turn everything up, but you can also get like flashbanged, and they say like that really fucking hurts when you have headphones on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're basically just like in it. I don't remember what it's called. I
Is
don't
it
know.
Outlast or no? No,
No.
that's not. Outlast is not a military game.
Rainbow Siege?
Rainbow, yeah, Rainbow's a
Yeah.
great game. Rainbow actually has some operatives from Mexico too. Really cool. They have operatives from all over the world, but I can't even recall the names. But they have really cool. I think one of them is Calavera, and she's like it's a woman. She has like again like ghost like face paint,
Yeah.
and she sneaks around and just has a silent.
Is it more
pistol.
Sugar Skull? The Sugar Skull style?
It's more like how you see ghosts in
Oh,
Modern Warfare.
okay.
It's
Just
like
kind of
painted on.
plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick though.
It's cool though to see more Latino representation like that. It's because a lot of Latinos play video games.
Yeah, I was gonna say like with like the Spider-Man thing, that's really important to young kids coming up, especially like if this is a superhero from Brooklyn who wears the same shoes that you wear and is dealing with the same things that you're dealing with. Because I know
Yeah.
that when I was going to school and seeing Spider-Man, I'm like, dude, this guy has to deal with like his fucking chemistry shit, and he's over here fighting Sandman at the same time. Like he's having a rough time.
It makes it really relatable, and then seeing the Latino aspects of it makes
Yeah.
it even more relatable. I imagine because didn't you say he was having like Spanish conversations with his mom?
Yeah,
in the
in the
game?
game, he's having conversations with his mom because he has his own game. I don't know if I said that, but like he has his own game and it came out for PS5, and he is getting actually like a dual game coming out in September with Peter Parker from the first game.
Mm.
So there's Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then the third game coming out later this year where they're together, working together. The second game is focused on Miles Morales, and it talks about all the drama with his family. I think his dad passed away, so it's mainly just talking about the Puerto Rican side. I think like Christmas and stuff is happening, so you
Mhm.
get to see some of those traditions too.
It's really cool. Yeah, and I feel like that does do a lot for little kids.
Mhm.
You know, because when you don't really see somebody you can relate to on a screen,
Mhm.
you know, and you spend a lot of time just in front of a screen watching shit, it's a little like it's a little of a bummer, because I was like when I was a little kid and I was obsessed with Barbie. I remember saying to mom, like, I wish I was blonde. Just like saying stuff like I want to be blonde. I want to have blue eyes. I want to look like Barbie. Like, it got
Yeah.
really cool. But I got like so psyched when Barbie and the Mariposas came out because Mariposa means butterfly in Spanish. So there was like, Spanish aspects. And for me as a little
Okay.
kid, that was so exciting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what that word means. Cause they're like, they're not speaking Spanish, but they're using little like things like, oh, this is called a whatever. And it's like a Spanish title. And I'm sitting there as a kid, I'm like, I know what that means. And it was really cool to see. So like, I feel like that kind of stuff is important.
That is really cool.
You know?
Yeah, you just taught me something. I did not know that's what it meant. So that's really cool. And
yeah.
well, I remember like
The more you know.
growing up, we would play with like a lot of games together. I played with Lego Guy. And I didn't know that you had that thing with the doll. Like I didn't know that.
You don't know I was obsessed with Barbie?
I knew you were obsessed with Barbie. I just didn't know that like when something like that came out, I didn't know that impacted you, like mariposa, like that those words were being used around you.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of like, oh shit, like this is like my gig kind of.
It was pretty cool to see. And just anytime I saw like, any like Latina celebrity or like actor or role, I would just get very excited for it because that wasn't something I saw that option. I remember being a kid and like some of my favorite artists were like Shakira and no hate to Shakira, but like there just wasn't like how many little kids they're obsessed with Shakira. Shakira and like Selena Gomez. Eventually, when I got older, Selena Quintanilla, because I learned who she was, I was obsessed with her for a while. Because I'm like, oh my God, she's Mexican American and I love her music and she's so cool and she does really
J-Lo
cool.
played her in a movie.
Fuck J-Lo.
J-Lo's married to Batman. Crazy
married
shit.
to Batman. Yeah, but like that shit was like exciting. Like when you get to see more representation like that, you don't feel like you got to like stick to these certain things that you can identify with, Because like I didn't really like, as a kid, I wasn't crazy about Shakira's music. I just liked her because I'm like,
well, that's like it was being played around so
like
often.
she's Latina, yeah. And I did hear her a lot, but like there wasn't a real reason that I really liked Shakira. It was just like she was Latina. I'd hear her music occasionally.
And I think all of the music I listened to was from mom and dad. Like, I can't remember the name of that lady, but it's with the pink album cover. She's wearing like a...
Julieta Venegas?
Yes.
She was my shit, me boy.
Listen to
Banger.
her and Bunbury a lot.
Yeah.
Bunbury's really good.
Yeah, we just got our music from mom and dad.
And what was the other one? I can't remember. They did Mariposa Traicionera.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, sorry. But
great bands.
Cool
Learn from
shit.
the parents.
Seeing, we just got a lot of music from mom and dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, back then, like seeing like a Latino or Latina, like just person that you can make your role model or idol, there wasn't that many options. I remember being a kid, I'm like, I'm not gonna make George Lopez my idol. I can't really relate to that dude.
I just hear him at 3 a.m, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, like fuck George Lopez. I hear that shit when it's way too late. I'm supposed to be sleeping. That was like, obviously, I don't got any beef with them now. But like as a kid, I don't give
might have beef with you apparently, but that's besides the
I don't
point.
give a fuck about George Lopez when I'm like 8. That dude means nothing to me.
You know what his
8.
podcast is called?
Isn't it Los Chingones?
It's the Chingon podcast.
The Chingon podcast. Yeah, fuck you, George Lopez, because I wanted that name for this podcast, but it's fine. We came up with Chicano and Chingon. That was pretty cool. But we almost got the Chingon.
Well, and one thing about, I don't know if you guys have talked about this in the past on this show, but George Lopez also is does
a hater.
Not want to help the next
No.
Latino.
That's what I was saying.
comedian.
I was like
He
he
is
might
a
not
hater.
like you. He might not like you because he
Right?
was talking to that one comedian and
Yeah.
he was just putting him down.
Controversial take for sure.
Yeah, because there was a comedian, there's up and coming Mexican, I don't know if he's Mexican American, but Mexican comedian who's really funny and he's kind of going viral on, I had seen him a lot on YouTube Reels. He was kind of blowing up on social media. And George Lopez went on a podcast or it was a radio show. He went on a show and they brought him up like, what do you think about this guy? And he goes, and he just started being a hater out of nowhere. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? Who even knows who this guy is? And just like shitting on him. And they're like, some of the guys there are like, well, he's actually getting like really popular. Like, I never heard of this guy, just being a dick. And earlier in his career, George Lopez used to say like, yeah, like other Mexican comedians didn't want to help me, like rise in this industry. They didn't want to see me succeed. They just wanted to be the only Mexican comedian.
They didn't want any competition.
He became the evil he despised. That's fucked up. So fuck you, George.
Take a note from George Lopez and
Don't
do
be
unto
him.
others what you want or something. The golden rule,
Or something.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That's the quote.
That's what George did.
Fucking George.
He betrayed us.
And now he has his reboot Netflix show that's not good apparently.
I didn't hear about that.
Because it's not good.
Oh. Oops. Well, yeah. So George Lopez sucks. How did we start talking about George Lopez? We were talking about video games.
Talking about people that we can find representation.
Oh
in.
yeah, he was not my
He's
idol.
not a good idol. for
Selena
that.
Quintanilla became my idol, and
Selena Gomez. Because we watch a lot of Disney. We watch a lot of
yeah,
Disney.
I
she was,
did
like,
really
the one.
Yeah, she was pretty cool. I wanted to be like Alex Russo when she was on Wizards of Waverly Place. I
Love
actually
that show.
wanted to be her so bad. But I didn't really I wasn't that crazy about her music. I was like, and people would be like, "Oh, like she's Mexican too, don't you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forget sometimes." Cuz no hate, she doesn't need to know Spanish or anything, but I mean, how often is her culture and heritage mentioned or seen? So
Yeah, it's
as a
not really
little
highlighted
as
too
a little
much.
kid, I was like, I like Alex Russo, but I wasn't that crazy about Selena Gomez. Ooh.
I think actually, speaking of representation, yeah, like Wizards of Waverly Place, that was a whole Mexican family.
Yeah, it was cool because there were some parts where their mom was trying to teach the kids Spanish and they're
Mhm.
just not following. And she's trying to make them speak Spanish around the house and they're not cooperating. They're like, I don't understand. And they just go back to English and she was getting really frustrated. But that was kind of funny because
Mhm.
I could relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
there's been times when we get home and our parents just don't respond unless we're speaking Spanish or I
Yeah.
don't speak English. I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying right now.
Yeah, I'd ask mom and dad because I'd be a kid. I'm like, can I have some juice? And they'd be like, you don't hablo inglés. Tienes que preguntarme en español. I don't speak English. You gotta ask me in Spanish. And as a kid, I'm so fucking annoyed. I'm like, are you?
Well, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I was embarrassed. I'm like, I don't really want to speak Spanish because I feel like they're gonna they're
Gonna
they
critique
focus
you?
it. Yeah, they focus on certain words, they critique certain things. And I'm just like, I feel
The
like shit.
sad thing is, we both spoke a lot of Spanish. When we were little ass kids, we spoke a lot of Spanish because we'd watch all of our movies were in Spanish. We'd watch Nemo in Spanish over and over again. We watched Monsters Inc. in Spanish. We would speak Spanish to mom and dad. My first words were in Spanish. And then as we got older and we started going to school and stuff, we weren't speaking Spanish that often. And
Well, I feel like it became I feel like a spectacle is the right word to use. I mean, because when you go to the elementary school, that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, there's the Mexican kid in class."
oh my God, you know what used to
let me hear you speak some Spanish for me. And
You
I'm
know
like,
what would piss me off
I gotta
in
figure it out
elementary school
first.
is little kids would come up to me and they'd be like, did I say something in Spanish? And I'm like, what the? And as a kid, I didn't have the vocabulary to tell them why that's the stupidest thing ever. But as a little kid, I'm getting so frustrated. I'm like, why do you think that would be something in any other language? Why would you do this shit to me? And I would get that shit all the time. So we don't really speak, kind of
It died down when we started going to school.
yeah. And then so mom and dad were trying to get us to do it again. They're like, I don't know, ask me in Spanish. And I'd be pissed off. I'm like, I don't know how. They're like, we'll say what you know. And if you don't know it, I'll help you. But it just felt embarrassing, you know? I
Yeah.
feel my face getting hot. I'm like, I don't want to speak Spanish right now. I feel I don't know, just just embarrassing.
But we'll wrap it back around. I feel like we just need that representation. We need
Yeah.
those people like Miles Morales that, probably born and raised in Brooklyn and they don't have a whole lot of experience with speaking Spanish. But they still try. And the
Yeah.
mom is still speaking and kind of I mean, it seems I don't see him here. I don't hear him saying full-on sentences or having full-on conversations.
But he is responding to his mom who's speaking Spanish.
Yeah,
I think a lot
they've
of people
done it
can relate to
before.
that. Yeah, a lot of Latinos living in the U.S. can relate to that for sure.
Mhm.
You know, at least even if maybe you do speak Spanish fluently, maybe you don't, but we all kind of have the experience of your parents speaking to you in Spanish and you're either responding in English or you just, you understand, but you can't always respond the same way that you want to.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. Or just kind of there's some aspects of the culture just surrounding you. And it does feel a little alienating sometimes when you feel like your Spanish isn't good enough.
Mhm. It's really intimidating. I mean, it's intimidating to go up to a guy that was born and raised in the motherland.
motherland.
Yeah, because he knows all the slang. He knows the cool way of speaking.
Yeah.
In
And
my
then
mind.
we only know how to speak Chicanos.
Iowans, good old
Iowan Chicanos.
corn-fed.
Yeah. But we just gotta get more Latinos on the screen, That's all we need.
And
It's
we're
not
getting
that-
it. It's,
we
it's
are.
happening slowly but
It happens a
surely.
lot. Yeah. A lot of video games now. That is super
Coco,
cool. Coco.
They had what's that one with all the family and they had powers and shit.
What? That was so big.
It took place in Colombia. It's a Pixar movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
And they had the song where it was like about weight and being like it's too heavy. I forgot the fucking name of the song. It was stuck in my head for
I
so
know
long.
what
I
movie
like
you're talking about.
I forgot about it and I don't want to
But
remember it again.
Encanto.
Encanto, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we see more shit like that. It's really, really cool. I was really happy when that movie came out.
It's a good movie. I some of those fucking songs, they just don't leave your head though. Like, and when it leaves your head, I just don't want to remember it. But
it's not my favorite movie because I wasn't a big fan of some of the songs. I thought they were okay, and I feel like at the end of the movie the plot got rushed. But I did enjoy watching it regardless because I'm like, this is really cool. Like I'm seeing them speak Spanish and English and just like I don't know.
Well, I
just
feel
see a
like
lot of
that's
cool
also
shit.
like it's a plot that is followable. Like I can relate to this. Like, oh, my grandma is not wanting to understand whatever. Like, you know.
Yeah, you see a lot of
in
like
the context of the movie.
yeah, because they're talking about in the movie generational trauma.
Yeah.
And how, older generations are kind of just they're not dealing with to say this in the nicest way possible. They're not dealing with their shit and then they're having kids and they're just kind of putting that shit on their kids and then their kids put that shit in their kids.
It multiplies.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. And I feel like the movie does really it covers generational trauma and I feel like kind of gives you a roadmap on how to deal with that too. But
yeah. Kinda. You just
I
you
mean,
want to
if
fix
you have
generational trauma,
superpowers,
you just got to sing songs with your family. And
Sing
that will
songs with your
heal
family.
everything.
Well, your house needs to get destroyed, and then you need to sing, come together, and then it'll fucking go back together. I don't know.
Maybe we could
I didn't watch that part.
sing to our family and everything.
Yeah, you just go up and sing to your grandma, and she'll fix the generational trauma.
That's already there. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Any more to say on that?
I feel like that's it, man. You want to do a cheers on this one? Nice clink.
Clink. Salute.
Clink. Salute. Next time it'll be Marg.
Or is it? Maybe this is just a clear marg.
It's a secret. We're not supposed to tell anybody.
Well, you can find out on the next episode if it was a clear marg or not. This has been
Comes out every...
the fuck? You just interrupted me.
Well, it comes out every what day?
Oh, every Wednesday.
There you go.
This has been Chicano and Chingon, and join us for the next episode. You can find out what we're drinking in the next one. Maybe it's going to be water. Maybe it's going to be tequila. Maybe it'll be a margarita. I don't know. We'll find out. And yeah, make sure to give us some feedback what you thought about today's episode. Leave a comment, whether you're watching us on YouTube. Drop a comment on our socials. Chicano and Chingon podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to check out our website, mangomustache.com/Chicano Chingon. You can find out about the people who produced and distributed the show, as well as our sponsors, Hacienda Las Glorias, who we will be shooting live episodes with every last Saturday of the month. So be sure to check us out there. And yeah, we will see you next time.
Catch you on the next one. Hell yeah, bro.
Thanks for joining us.
Mango Mustache Media.